This is the BGG Climbers list for the week ending 12/1/2021. This list is put together every week by Michael Alexander. There's links in the description below if you want to take a look at the list and other information about these games. So let's get into it. This week has a lot of interesting stuff, partially because the getting close to the holidays, there's a lot of people trying out new games, and also BGCon, and I think PAX Unplugged is still coming up this week, but a lot of exciting stuff with board games around the holidays. So let's get into it. So one interesting thing below the top 10, actually, with the followers here is Boomhaven Jaws the Lion dropped from 5 to 6. Now, its average rating is declining. But also its Bayesian average is declining. So that means that, unlike what I was thinking, and I mean, I guess it could still happen, it seems like Gloomhaven Jaws the Lion may not end up being the number 1 or 2 game. We'll have to see if Frosthaven pulls that off. But let's see. I mean, it's possible that when people pick up their holiday Gloomhaven gifts, this will move up again. Although it has been falling for quite a while, slowly. So I thought that was very interesting that it may have peaked at rank 5. We're going to skip all the way to the top 10. There isn't a huge amount of interesting stuff below there. But number 10 is Role Player Adventures. So we've seen this one for a couple weeks now. Role Player Adventures is essentially an adventure game that can be either played by itself or with characters from Role Player. The reviews for this have been pretty strong, especially from like Tom Bassel. He had his family review, which I guess the game is lighter weight, right? It's 2.29, so it's not a deeply complex adventure game. But it sounded like it was pretty fun, although there was a good amount of randomness to it. So maybe that's gonna take away from the game a little bit. Especially they said that some encounters were essentially unbeatable. You would get into them, and the combination, you weren't going to be able to win. But other than that, I'm interested in seeing it. I don't know if I'm going to pick up the game or not. I may if there's a good enough deal at some point. So that is Role Player Adventures, number 10. Number 9 is Imperial Steam. So I think we saw, maybe I looked at this on my own. This was, no, we did see this one. So this is kind of a Euro-ish game with some, I think, really good-looking tokens and a decent looking board. It is Capstone Games, I guess latest release. It's a fairly heavy game at 3.86, and it's got contracts, market, network building, pick up and deliver. I think that overall this isn't getting extremely strong ratings. It was getting, got some ratings in the 7s, then it bumped up in the 8s, and then now it's back to the 7s. It is a heavier game, so maybe we'll see it pick up steam as it gets a little bit more play. Some of these heavier games start off, high 7s and then actually increase over time, I've seen. So that's Imperial Steam, number 9. Number 8, so I think this is the first week we've seen this in the top 10. It's Lizard Wizard. So this was Glenn Drover's latest, I guess, alliteration game or rhyming game with Lizard Wizard. The last one was Raccoon Tycoon. This one is starting off a little bit weaker than the previous game, though. And it was, Forbidden Games, the same publisher. This one's an auction bidding game with some push your luck and set collection mechanisms. I'm not a big, personally, I'm just not a big fan of auction games in general. Most of them I don't find super interesting. Push your luck I like, but set collection is not my favorite mechanism typically. So I'm probably not going to end up getting this one. I do have Raccoon Tycoon unplayed so far. As far as where I see this going, it's hard to imagine this is going to end up in the top 100 with this low ratings initially, but we'll give it a few more weeks and see what happens. It's only got 117 ratings so far. So that's number 8, Lizard Wizard. Number 7 is Micro Macro Crime City Full House. So this is essentially the sequel to Micro Macro Crime City. It's apparently going to be a series of 4 games that you can then combine the maps, I was reading. into one big game, which would be pretty insane because I guess these maps take up entire tables, so it'd be like an entire room of maps. Unlike what I was hoping, it isn't kid friendly, but I did hear that they are going to come out with a kid friendly version, a more friendly version of it. Although this one, and I think the reprint of Micro Macro does have like ratings for the cases for like families. So I ended up picking up a copy of this to play with my family, and we can just exclude the cases that are not like appropriate for children. I think this one's going to do extremely well. Micro Macro did extremely well. The real limitation here is enough copies of it and enough people rating it, I think. If that happens, it will probably end up in the top 100 or very close. So that's Micro Macro Crime City Full House. Number 6, Great Western Trail 2nd Edition. So this is likely destined for the top 100. It could even beat out Great Western Trail because what these 2nd editions of games do is they kind of weed out the people that didn't like the 1st edition, right? Because why would you play the 2nd edition if you already didn't like the 1st edition most of the time? So this one could rocket up really quickly. As you can see, all the people that liked Great Western Trail that wanted the new cowboy meeples with the hats and the better artwork on the box and in the game pick this up with some very minor rule changes. The one disappointing thing is that I thought Rails to the North was a good expansion. I don't think it's included here. Actually, I know it. I'm pretty sure it's not included. And I don't know if they're going to release the expansion or if they're just going to change up the game with the New Zealand and Argentina ones that are coming. Both those I am excited about to see what they do with this concept. So this is Great Western Trail, number 6, or Great Western Trail 2nd Edition. Probably top 100, maybe even top 10. Number 5 is Twilight Imperium 4th Edition. So this is the game that knocked Boomhaven Jaws of the Lion down one. Well, essentially, Boomhaven Jaws of the Lion knocked itself down one. And this one may have peaked. It's already got 15,000 ratings. It got its boost from the expansion, which I was really excited about the expansion, but I've cooled on a little bit. One thing is, it definitely brings battles. Like, we had way more battles in the game that we played, but the length was long, and it felt like the ending was even more random than a normal game, just depending upon who could ninja the victory at the end. I think it was good. It was really long. It took us, for a 6-player, 14-point game, I think 8 hours to play through. It was quite long. People were worn out at the end. But it was fun. Would I play with the expansion every time? I'm not sure. I do like the new races, but I don't know if I want such a short game with 10 points or such a long game with 14 points. Maybe the expansion with 4 players is the ideal place. I don't know. Anyway, this is Twilight Imperium 4th Edition. I thought this might actually be in the top 3 at some point, but it's not looking like it. I don't think the expansion was popular enough to propel it up too much, and we may be sitting at it in the top 10 for probably quite a while. Number 4 is Boon Lake. So this is Alexander Pfister's latest game, which some people have said is a replacement for Maracaibo. Maracaibo's coming with an expansion though, so maybe that'll change things a little bit. As far as where I think this is going to land, I mean, Alexander Pfister's a pretty popular designer. He has Maracaibo. He has Great Western Trail, obviously. And I think one other amazingly... Oh, yeah, he did Oh My Goods, and, Expedition New Dale didn't do as well, but Oh My Goods was a pretty popular game, even with a terrible name like that. So, Boon Lake, I'm not sure that this one is going to have the legs to get in the top 100, but let's see. Let's give it a few more weeks and see if it still maintains a 8-ish rating. If it's in that range, it either might get in the top 100 or might fall just short. So it's number 4, Boon Lake. Number 3 is World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King. So this one was probably on the list at least once before, maybe it was outside the top 10. This is the latest pandemic system game. My copy came in the mail. I had to get it because I think the pandemic system itself was good. I never picked up Fall of Rome, but this kind of felt like a pandemic system-ish game with a little bit of a unique theme. I thought the minis looked amazing, and I just thought, well, I should get the World of Warcraft one before it goes out of print and you can't buy it anymore, which may or may not happen. I don't know with this stuff, but I have known, or I do know that other World of Warcraft games, board games, have gone out of print. The artwork looked really good. The theme I liked, and I just think based on things based on the pandemic system can be really fun and not overly complex. I don't think this is going to end up in the top 100. Probably in the top 250 or 300 games. Just because if it's not a pandemic legacy game, it just doesn't seem to be getting as much pickup these days with the pandemic system. So that's World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King. Number 3. Number 2, Flora Furious. Hopefully I pronounced that right. So I haven't seen this game before. There's been a lot of nature-oriented games coming out, I think, ever since Wingspan. Wow, the artwork on this looks really good. And this is is this a solo game? 1 to 3 players, 1 to 4 players. Flowers and gardening set collection, which isn't my favorite thing, but I like the I like this artwork on here. It's really, really nice. So was this a Kickstarter game? That is one other interesting thing here. I don't think so. Oh yeah, Kickstarter. So this was probably on Kickstarter a while back. It looks like it's not too expensive of a game, so it is fairly lightweight, but people seem to like it so far, and it is doing well on the top 10 list at a 7.88. I'm interested to see this one. I don't think lightweight card games are going to end up in the top 100 most of the time, but it is a nice looking game at a fairly reasonable price point. So that's number 2, Flora Furious. And number 1, It's a Wonderful Kingdom. So this is a sequel to It's a Wonderful World, which both of them were Kickstarter games. I played It's a Wonderful World, and I liked it, but I didn't think I needed to play it again, I would say, after I played it a couple times. This thing has, I think, similar artwork, but it's in a, I guess, a older colonial medieval time period esque, and the artwork looks good. Betting and bluffing, card drafting, I cut, you choose. That's interesting. So there may be some different. See, so we got split and trap. Okay, planification. So there must be some different mechanisms here. So this from it's a standalone solo or 2-player game in the low fantasy universe. So this might be interesting. It's a Wonderful World was a multiplayer game, maybe a 2-player game with this theme and mechanisms. Maybe it would work. I know Seven Wonders Duel is my favorite Seven Wonders game, even though it's not a huge amount like Seven Wonders. Maybe this is going to be the same sort of thing. 2.44 weight on a 2-player game is a pretty good spot, I think. So I'm interested to see how this one does. Starting out decently strong with the first people receiving their Kickstarters at 8.13. So let's see how this one goes in the next few weeks. So there you have it. That is the BGG Climbers list for the week ending 2021 or 12/1/2021. If you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe, please take a look at our other videos. Thank you.